Axel Disasi is a Chelsea player, and there is so many reasons to be excited, especially because a new defender, a new centre-back has come into the club at a time where we lost one for probably the whole season. Axel Disasi is a blue. Fabrizio Romano coming through with the highlights a little bit earlier, and then Chelsea officially announcing that will be a big part of this particular video. That alongside the fact that Stuart Thompson is finally at Chelsea as part of the recruitment team. Leandro Paredes is in the headlines as an alternative to Moises Caicedo. The alternatives are not very exciting, but hey, we're going to be looking into that and why maybe we should consider those, as well as of course a couple of players that we thought would be going out on loan but could be staying. Why are they staying, or why are they likely to? We have good reason to believe they will, and we'll be discussing that and what it means for the side. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. My name is Desire Derrickford Mugumisa. Follow me on Twitter at @dmugumisa for all the interactions between us and all of that. But then that is also to remind you to like, share and subscribe to this particular channel, because it is those subscriptions that help us to grow to the level we need to consistently get to share this content with you. Also, do remember to let all your people know about this particular channel. Well, let's get started on this particular edition of, this podcast. Is it one? I still don't know what to call it. So hey, let's say to the comment section and let me know, is it a podcast? Is it an update? Is it a vlog? Whatever it is, educate me. I'm here to learn from you. But first and foremost, let's look at an interesting fact before we get into all those topics I've been talking about. And that is the fact about this preseason. I read this and it kind of excited me. I hope it does excite you too. Look at this. So Chelsea finished preseason unbeaten. The Blues win 3 out of 5 friendlies in the preseason, drawing twice. Now this is the interesting part. This is the first time since 2011 that Chelsea did not suffer a single defeat in pre-season. Do you get it? No? The year 2011. Do you now get it? I hope you do. Okay, cool. So 2011 is the preseason before 2011-2012. You now get it, right? No? Okay, 2011-2012 is when we won our first Champions League title after struggling so many years to get it. Now that season was not good. It was far from good. But the way it ended, that was how a season should end. Well, I hope Pochettino completes this particular season. And, I cannot hope we win the Champions League because you need to be in it to win it. We are not there. However, we're in the Carabao Cup, we're in the FA Cup, we are in the Premier League. That would be a beautiful treble. Should we dream? Should we? Well, Pochettino has also come out to say that you only play at Chelsea if you want to win titles. So maybe, just maybe, we should hope that we will be treble winners this year, and that should be beautiful, shouldn't it? Well, all the reasons to be excited about a beautiful season that is coming up, but away from that, something that excites us even the more. Blue is the color. Axel Disasi, welcome. And that is coming off the official Chelsea Twitter, and then they also go ahead to release a video about Axel Disasi and pretty much a little bit of his first remarks as a Chelsea player. Excited to be here speaking about the pace and all of those, but very importantly that he's very happy and excited to start at Chelsea Football Club. Well, now that is a defender, 25 years of age, 40 million pounds. That in itself should be a little bit of a worry for us people. 40 million pounds for a 25-year-old is a bit high, I've got to say. Why? Because this 25-year-old is not exactly an established defender. Yes, he had a good season or a couple of good seasons in France, not at PSG or any of the other top clubs in there. Well, as Monaco, you could consider it one of, but you know what I mean. There's a little bit of a worry in there. He was in the French national team. That is what we say. However, we want to note that the only time he played from the start is when the French felt the game against Tunisia didn't matter so much to them. That's the only time he started. They lost that game. That can't be on him entirely. He didn't exactly, I don't think he played 10 minutes of the rest of the World Cup for France. He was in there. Remember, he also came in late into that squad. He wasn't originally selected in that squad. He came in after, I think it was Presnel Kimpembe had gotten an injury. And even when he got in, we can't be so sure that he came in as a centre-back. He came in as a player in his secondary role, a right back. So that could be a little of that gets to worry us about this particular guy. Why is he 25 and not among the people that clubs have been scrambling over right there? Of course, in terms of bringing A-class level talent into their squad. Why? Well, we got him, and you've got to see that with this summer, and I'm moving on to the positives very fast. We've gotten him. We've looked at the potential of all these players getting to come into this particular Chelsea side, and I think that's exactly what we're still looking at. We shall remember that the prime of a centre-back is about 28, maybe 30 or thereabouts. So he's 25, he still has 3 years to grow to that particular level. We've seen what he can do. He's not exactly a slow centre-back, so whoever tried to force the narrative on us on Twitter basing on FIFA 23, please, let's calm down a little. Another guy that was told we could see was not so fast on FIFA 23 is, Christian Kunku. But we've seen how fast he's been in preseason, so maybe that's not so much that we should be reading into. He has some pace on him. He had some goals come his way last season. He has some assists in there. And usually that is something that comes from, wing backs and full backs. This is a centre-back that was bringing that to the table. So maybe you have a few goals in there as well. At 25, he has been playing around France and all of that. He has some experience that many teenagers in our squad do not have. So maybe that's yet another leader that gets to join in on that particular side. But very importantly, he's a huge lad, this Axel Disasi guy. So you want to think that he will give us that physicality and all of that. Actually, when I get to watch his highlights, I won't even lie, I know the guy so much. But when I watch a bit of his highlights and all of that, maybe I'm shooting so high, but Virgil van Dijk could have come to Chelsea in a different shape. Not so different, but you get what I mean, right? Anywho, that's beautiful news with Axel Disasi. Let's get to move on to another incoming at Chelsea Football Club. Yesterday, getting the news coming in that Stuart Thompson has finally made his move from Manchester City to Chelsea. And of course, he put out a tweet to that effect, and that tweet read, "Start to leave Man City. We signed some top young talents and I wish them all the very best, but really looking forward to my new role of first team scouting at Chelsea Football Club." Welcome to the biggest club in London, Mr. Thompson. Let's continue, because I also read up on something that is quite interesting, because in March, our friends at Football Insider put out this article, but it didn't look like something we should rely on so much, because again, we've been hiring so many people around those circles as far as recruitment is concerned. But yes, they had a story as per their sources, and now we know their sources were right. Chelsea have agreed a deal to hire Man City talent spotter Stuart Thompson. Sources have told Football Insider City's head of UK Academy Scouting is heading to the London Giants as they continue the huge overhaul of their entire transfer setup. And of course, that overhaul has already seen results. All these players that we have on our books, some of them already being inquired about by clubs like Barcelona, are club players that maybe usually we would have waited a year or two and bought them in the 40s and 80s of the £1 million right there. Now we are getting them on the lower end of things. So yes, the model where, of course, the Blue Core decided we were going to go out and sign young players and grow them. And then, of course, adding the bit where you have Strasbourg as a club in France. They're looking at another option in Portugal, coming through as other bodies where you can get to grow this talent before it comes through, is definitely a model that seems to be working so well. So yeah, congratulations to them. Now, of course, that is a deal that we do believe Joe Shields, who we got from Southampton but had worked with, of course, Stuart Thompson at Manchester City before he moved, was very crucial in getting Stuart Thompson to join this recruitment team. Speaking of people that were crucial as we hired people, a tweet coming in from The Athletic's Liam Toomey is something that you want to be paying attention to this particular morning, because goalkeeper was always a priority, and Robert's belief in Sanchez always made him the likeliest choice. Chelsea targeting at least 2 more signings in this window. Now, of course, the Roberts that is being referred to in this particular one is Ben Roberts, our goalkeeping coach that was kept behind after Graham Potter left the training, or should I say the coaching setup at Chelsea Football Club. Ben Roberts believing so much in Robert Sanchez and believing that he was a very good number 2 alternative to, of course, Kepa, but could also push on and be number one in there. So yeah, that is good people hired already at Chelsea, recommending other good people that could make us better, and you definitely love to see that. Now let's get to move on to the other big topic on the building as far as Chelsea is concerned, and that is the case that is Moises Caicedo. Don't get me wrong, I still believe it's a done deal. We're only waiting for what gets to happen. However, there are a couple of people that are pushing some alternatives out there. I still believe we're getting Moises Caicedo and another midfielder, just like we were supposed to be getting Ugarte and Moises Caicedo. And now the name coming up is Leandro Paredes. This is for me to say, yes, in as much as the reports are stating he's coming in as an alternative to Moises Caicedo, I believe Moises Caicedo is already here, and Leandro Paredes is the other option that should be coming into the club, and of course understandably so. Let's get a look at this report. Nizar Kensela reporting this morning that Chelsea interested in Leandro Paredes as another alternative midfielder with Edson Alvarez and Tyler Adams. So yes, you can see that CDM role is something that continues to be an issue. Who is breaking down the play? And of course, yes, I stated that I would love to see how André Santos grows into that particular role, but then again, he cannot be alone in there. So Caicedo or no Caicedo, Santos needs to stay. But that said, we shall still need someone who breaks down the play, I do believe, to make a solid squad that's going to be competing for top 4 at the very worst. But hey, that treble that I was talking about earlier does need players in place to get it. So yes, Leandro Paredes, a guy who is well known to Pochettino. Well, he's Argentine. He's played with Enzo Fernandez. He's played, he's broken down play very effectively for both PSG and Argentina over the last year or so. And very importantly, and it's probably why he's splitting opinions, we were favorites to get him before he went to PSG, and then somehow the money, well, I believe it's the money, took him to PSG. So maybe this is our chance to get him in. The only downside to that is that all these players that we've wanted and have gone to other clubs and then later come to us have not exactly worked out for us. Falcao, Pato, the list goes on. Well, we'll see how that gets to go, but we shall be studying this report and bringing you all the updates and analysis as they get to come through. And alright, as we continue to put together this squad for the 7 days that are left before we play Premier League football against Liverpool to open our new season, well, there's still a few movements that are expected around our squad, and 2 of those that will no longer be happening. One of those is a report that came in a couple of days ago that is, and this is just in case you missed it, André Santos, it looks like, will no longer be leaving Chelsea, to the happiness of so many of us. Now, as per Simon Phillips on Twitter, Salernitana sporting director Morgan De Sanctis, he came out to state, "We are interested in André Santos, but Chelsea made a major investment and have decided that he will be part of the first team." That is via Chelsea_HQ. Now, isn't that brilliant news? Yes, it looks like André Santos will be staying at the club. Now, of course, Moises Caicedo is already coming in my books. And André Santos in there. And Leandro Paredes in there as well, on top of Enzo Fernandez. That looks like a very good midfield, doesn't it? Now, this is the big way we're going to be closing this one. And it's even bigger than André Santos. Please hear me out. We do have something coming in, and it was tweeted by @blue_footy, stating Strasbourg are no longer sure to register the loan of Angelo Gabriel. He's 18 years of age. Chelsea are considering keeping him after his recent performances in pre-season, and they are quoting L'Equipe as the sources to this particular story. I want to believe now that that is a very reliable source on this particular one. And yes, Angelo Gabriel, when he was brought into the club, it was so he could go to Strasbourg on loan for 1 season or maybe 2 before he comes back to the Chelsea setup. They took him on pre-season to have a look at him, and he impressed. Many of them are saying, how are we keeping Sterling at the club while Angelo Gabriel is going to play for Strasbourg? So, well, it looks like that won't be happening. Well, I don't know about Sterling. It looks like he's here for the short term at least. And Angelo Gabriel will be joining that. That could affect our shopping on the right wing. Yes, because Noni Madueke is already there. If Angelo Gabriel stays, then are we still getting Kudus, Olise, and, well, Shaki? We already seem to know that the club do not love his attitude. So maybe that is a done deal, a gone case, and all of that. But, well, I do not know if Olise and the others come in, but I am happy that Angelo Gabriel is staying. That is talent that deserves to play at Chelsea. Thank you so much for having been a part of this one as well. Hey, look around the channel. There's still so many Chelsea videos for you to have a look and, conversations that we can have in the comment section. Let me know, what does the Chelsea squad look like for you? And we'll have that conversation